We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
You got to have the why, and we know our why. So I think
You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of people have done this already. You can get help, you can get a roadmap, you can save a lot of time, money, and frustration. Welcome to the Value Add Podcast with K&K. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Value Add with K&K. Today, it's just K&K, and we wanted to kind of talk about how we're doing with having a baby and continuing on with our business and all the projects that we're working on and all that good stuff. I know that was kind of one of my biggest worries when I got pregnant or before. It was like, how the hell am I going to do this? I'm more of a one-track mind, and so it's difficult for me to imagine having a baby and kind of working at the same time.
one track mind, you got that right.
Hey, just being honest, man.
That's very honest.
So,
How are we doing?
I think we're doing good. I mean, honestly, we're so lucky because we have a lot of help.
Who helps us?
We have a nanny 4 days
Yolanda.
a week.
Thank you.
Yolanda, she is the best. I would recommend her to you, but she watches my baby, so you can't have her. But yeah, so she's awesome. And then, but we don't have her on Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, grandmas help out. So Kenny's mom helps out in the morning. Well, actually, I have my mom come from 8 to 9:30 until Tara, Kenny's mom, shows up. And then she stays from about 9:30 until 2. And then my mom comes back and relieves her from 2 until
Whenever we get home.
4 or
4 or 5.
5, really. 5 is kind of the latest when we get home because, Harlow goes to bed around between 7 and 8. So we really only get a couple hours with her. But yeah, that's how it kind of works. But I mean, even recently the nanny was gone. And so I got to kind of see how that goes when you don't have
Things
the nanny.
happen. Yep.
Yeah, things come up, things happen. She's been sick a couple times too. But again, luckily we have the grandmas around. So, and then my sister. So my sister will watch Harlow.
My sister's help.
Yep. Kenny's sister.
So I think the key for us has been having help, people around you that are willing to help. And I think the big change for us is the mornings, working together. So if I get up early, so it helps, but still I got to get back at certain times. So you can go to the gym, then you get back, and then Harlow's not moving around yet, but when she does, it's going to probably be another adjustment. But, getting her fed, changed, playing with her, entertaining her till somebody comes. And then we're used to getting home later for a while. When we worked before, we get home probably
7
the
or
average
8.
6, 7, 8. Now on Mondays and Tuesdays, we get home at we got to get home by 5. It used to be 4. Wednesdays we get home between 4 and 5, and then Thursdays we get home.
Thursday and Friday both.
We get by 4 o'clock, so it's adjustment. So we get home and we play with her. Sometimes she's napping, and if she's napping, we're working. And so a lot of times we'll hang out with her, we'll play with her, and then I'll watch her. And Crystal's got to do an email or a phone call or this or that, and then we're flip flopping. So we're in the same boat. So we're just working together. And is it perfect? Nope. Do we sometimes say I got work and she has work and there's a little debate? Yep. But
Who's more important?
well, of course I am.
No, that's always me.
Harlow
But-
actually is the most important.
Yeah.
But we just work it out, and in the beginning I would say it was definitely more stressful because we weren't used to it, so we'd probably get in a little bit more of debates about it. I'm not saying argue, it's more debates, and it was more of stress because you got work to do, I got work to do, and when you have this kid. But now we realize, okay, look, so on our way home, we're like, what do you have to do? I need to get X, Y, Z done. Cool, so let me get it done, then I'll take over at this time, then you can jump in and work. And that's what it is. And sometimes we will you have to do it. You just have to do what you got to do, and that's it. There's no.
Yeah, you basically don't have a choice, so you just need to figure it out. That's kind of what happened with us. But we have learned little tools that are really helpful. I have to say that so you got the AirPods before me, and I was kind of whatever, I don't really use those things. And then I got the AirPods, and I didn't really use them that much. But with a baby,
Do you still use them today?
I use them all the time.
When you can find them.
When I can find them. Okay, so that's like a whole other thing. I'm researching on Amazon. There are things I can get so that I don't lose my AirPods.
Crystal,
okay?
like, literally
So I'm
loses
buying
her-
something. I just need to make sure it's cute.
She
and,
loses them daily.
like my kind of
Okay, every other day.
cute. So anyways, I do lose them all the time, and usually I lose them like somewhere really obvious, like on my makeup mirror or, you know, like in a pocket somewhere or something. But anyways,
Or in that little cubby hole in the car.
the cubby hole in the car, yeah. So I have a couple of spots where I lose my AirPods. But the AirPods have been a huge lifesaver to me because if I have to take a call and I have Harlow, I just have the AirPods and I can, like, you know, just do the double tap and take the call or hang up or do whatever, and still kind of hang out with her.
Because you're doing, I mean, before this year, the last 2013 pretty much through, and it just went up till 2000, the end of 18, let's just call it 5 years. You did a lot of management. So sometimes later on it was many phone calls, and now you're doing more of the loan stuff, which is, you know, phone calls and new clients and putting deals together, and it's a lot more phone calls. Before you were just kind of like, not that there wasn't phone calls, but you're more like, it was numbers and paperwork, and you had to like sit down. So it's a different kind of work, but you got to work.
Yeah, I mean, and I like work. So, I mean, but one thing I have to say that is hard, and I think maybe every mom goes through it, is like the mom guilt, because there's the side that I feel like I need to hang out with Harlow and spend time with her, but there's the other side where I realize that I have a business too that's also kind of my baby. So there is guilt for me. I definitely have it, like, oh, I should spend more time with Harlow, but I really need to work. But so kind of trying to have that balance, and I don't know that it will ever really go away. I mean, it's just a hard thing to juggle, but I try to now, like, I think the one bigger change that I've made is dedicating my weekends more to family when we would have been working. And
We still are doing some work. So what
we're doing some work, but it's different.
It's blocked. So basically, you know, Rose will come over and be like, hey, from 9 to 2, we're basically all in. We're going to come in here, work, and we're working on a project.
And we don't do that every weekend, though.
No, we're working on a project now, and then it's going to start back up again because we're going to try to finalize it, but we're going to just try to tackle it and get it done. And it's a lot of time. But when we work, we're here. So we don't want to do it at the house on the weekend because we feel like we'll just work all day and get nothing done. So we come in here, knock 4 or 5 hours out, go back, and then we're done for the weekend. We hang out with Harlow and spend quality time, and that's what we try to do. We really do try to spend, when we're with her, as much quality time. Sundays become more of a hangout family day, and obviously, you know, when we eventually have another kid, it's going to be harder and harder to do this stuff, and as they get older, there's going to be activities and things like that. So we have 1 kid, and there's people that have 3 kids, so we're just telling you how we deal with the 1 kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we work too, I think, on the, you know, people say, oh, you have the podcast and you do the marketing stuff and you're doing the loans. How do you do it all? So we plan a lot of times our questions for the podcast and for our guests are at night during the week when Harlow's gone to sleep. I used to have more time. So before daylight savings, Harlow would go to sleep earlier because it got dark earlier. So she would go to sleep between 6 and 7. Well, now she's going to bed between 7 and 8. So now we don't have as much time, but we still, a lot of times, well, after she
Closer to
goes,
8, I feel like, too.
it is really like more like 8. But
And we're trying to get to bed by 9:30 because
we're trying to go to bed by 9:30.
I
So
want to get up early.
so we do the questions though usually from that 8 to 9:30 period at night, and get that kind of stuff done. And we'll do a little bit of work here and there, usually between 8 and 9:30. But that's kind of how we work it. You just fit it in.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest, being self-employed and having kids, the biggest advantage is we have flexibility. So we can leave and come and go when we need to. We don't have to check in with anybody. We can rearrange our schedule if something comes up. The disadvantage is work doesn't necessarily just turn off. So some work that you don't get done, maybe you have to do it after she goes to bed, and then you're trying to get to bed at a certain time. So you really got to just not waste time and just get shit done. And so sometimes that's waking up at 3:45 in the morning, as I did this Monday, to get some work done because I wanted to work out. And yes, Crystal's looking at me like I'm a lunatic, and I already know I am. And then some people are going to stay up late. So I'd rather get up. I know this is crazy. I'd rather get to bed at 9:30. I'd rather get up at 3 in the morning, and rather because I'm up and I can go work out, and then stay up till 12 or 1 because I'm going to get up early.
So when you're up at, my only caveat to that is if you feel like you need to get up at 3:45 in the morning to work, you can't be on a rampage for the whole rest of the day.
Absolutely.
About getting up at 3:45 a.m. to work. So Kenny was just a real peach on Monday when he woke up at 3:45 to work and told everybody that 17 times. So, yeah.
No, so honestly, you have to figure it out. I think Crystal and I, what we've been really good at is, as we always say, we get in our room, we turn everything off. We've been really good about going to bed. I know come the end of the month, we're going to be working on our project. So that will mean we're going to get back to doing, even if we get that hour of work on the project a night, it actually at the end of the week, it adds up for us. So we really don't watch TV. Even though I did come home last night after I ran 6 miles. And
to what? What was I watching?
Beverly Hills Housewives.
Okay. There we go.
Not the Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, so I will say, though, like we kind of go through phases because I get that working this much isn't sustainable on a daily basis. So we went from January to about March, I would say, like through the end of March, working every night. So when Harlow would go to sleep, we would literally be working from like 7 until 9 o'clock at night after working a full day. And we didn't really work weekends.
We kind of worked through the holidays too.
We worked through the holidays. We worked through all of it. And so, I mean, I'm human. We're all human. You're going to go through those phases where you kind of need a mental break. We don't get those a lot. So for probably the last, I would say 3 weeks for me, I have been watching a little more Netflix and things at night and just unwinding with that because I'm like, dude, I busted my ass for the last 3 months. I need a little bit of a breather.
You've been busting your ass, and
and I'll still do that, but I'm just like not gonna dedicate every single.
Yeah,
I need a mental break to refuel. So that's why come May for me, it's kind of like go time again, where I'll probably go for another month or two, working a lot of nights and then working weekends to finish up the project. But I'm kind of like refueling and enjoying a little bit of downtime, even if it's like literally an hour at night.
Yeah, it's been weird for us because we really haven't, I feel like we haven't even had, not that a day off, but I feel like even through the holidays, we were doing a lot of work and a lot of prepping and things like that. So while people are vacationing when we usually are, we were here with Harlow, but we were taking advantage of it in a different way because we wanted to. So we haven't had a trip for a while. I know that sounds, some people are like, go to hell. I haven't had a trip in 10 years. But, when you work hard, we work hard and we want to go on trips because we need it. We need that break and we haven't had it. So for me, it's been a little bit like, man, I haven't had that break. I mean, we even had a weekend where we just almost turned everything off and haven't done anything. We haven't had that. So we are going to go on a trip in July. It's planned, hopefully a couple trips before then. But, that's it. And I think,
but that goes to, though, I think the conversation about the people who haven't taken a vacation in 10 years. Everybody has a different situation, but I think we all too get, like, we prefer to spend our time doing certain things. So some people prefer to spend their time hanging out with friends on nights and weekends. And then other people, maybe go shopping or spend money or do staycations or, do a weekend trip away. For us, we do the same. Like, we kind of look at our lives and say what matters to us most. And we don't do a ton of hanging out with friends on nights and weekends. Usually if we're hanging out with people, they're people that are our friends, but they work with us in some capacity. So it's kind of still business related. And then when we travel, we've been doing a lot of traveling internationally the last 3 or 4 years. We did less of the weekend trips to do the bigger trips. So
before that, we were going a lot of weekend trips.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to point that out because some people are like, oh, you guys are lucky you can travel. No, we still like budget and think about these things like other people would. And we know there's always somebody that we know who's taking better, cooler, longer, more frequent, trips than us that we'd like to be more like, or people who are doing less. So I think it's really about prioritizing and deciding what you want to do. Like you and I usually sit like when we do our goals every year, we're kind of still like, okay, this year is going to be the year where we're taking like more weekend trips because we have Harlow and we have a small baby. And then it's like, you know, a couple years back, we were like, hey, we haven't done a lot of travel. We're going to have a family soon. We need to take bigger trips. So I'm going to take less of those like Palm Springs, Vegas, whatever vacations and do more of, you know, like what we did, Thailand and Vietnam and Europe and all of that. So that was kind of our choice. So this year is going to be more about smaller trips, and maybe next year will be more
We have a
about doing
decent
some
trip
bigger
in
ones.
July. That'll be fun.
So
Yeah. And then hang out with friends, I think for us, because time's limited, we do hang out. We do more of like the workout stuff, like Monty. So if you want to hang out with me, it's between the hours of 4:30 in the morning and 6 a.m. And that includes
it's
running, fitness, stairs, whatever. Monty's been in that. And there's a certain type of personality that likes to get up at that hour, and we like to.
true. You found a pretty good tribe of people who do
and
that.
I mean, but
so.
even I invited people. You know, for last night we went on a jog. There's I don't know how many people there was 12 people, maybe more. But we went and ran 6 miles through Tecolote Canyon. But you know, so what it is I think you have to be more strategic of your time. Like tomorrow, we're kind of like we're gonna go do the flower fields, take some pictures, but then we'll go hang out. But we're hanging out with people that we do business with or working with. So I think when you have kids and stuff, it definitely narrows down stuff. But also too, if you're self-employed and you're in a business like ours, a lot of times, unfortunately, you're really hanging around people that you work and do business with. And a lot of successful people do that it kind of goes hand in hand, and that's just how it is.
Well, it's just like who you went to high school with, who's your clique. I mean, you basically, as you get older now, work is your thing, and you tend to hang out with people that you work with. I mean,
and it's not even that. For us, I think it goes beyond that. Like, we obviously focus on, especially me, like, I'm trying to get around people that are pushing me and making me a better person. So
Yep.
you are who you hang around. And that's what I think a lot of people get wrong. It's like when you're on the weekends or at night and all this, like the more you hang around successful people, I'm not talking just money wise. I'm talking that are fit. I'm talking that are mentally fit. I'm talking that are good parents. I'm talking like all this stuff. You hang around people that are better parents, they have that balance down. You hang around people that are fitter, they're going to get up in the morning. They're going to work out there. You hang out with people that make more money, that are more successful. They have the same mindset, but they're like, hey, we're going to hang out for an hour and a half. We're going to do our thing. And then I got to go back to my family. You go back to your family, you know? And that's how it was. Like some of us last night, they don't have kids. They can stay and have another beer. Some of us were like, hey, I've got to go buy dog food. I got to go to the store. And then I got to go get gas in the car because there is none. And I got home at 9 o'clock. And they probably still be home. But I still was able to fit the run in and have a beer with you guys and hang out. So that's just how it is. Sure, I'd love to go and hang out and have 2 beers and eat. But
well, we kind of already went through this too, since our goal is to kind of stay consistent with what time we wake up. We don't really, I mean, we tease with our friends, but I mean, I would say that your good friends do meet you where you're at because, for example, like we're not going to be the people who are out to dinner at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Like we're just not those people. So, you know, we made dinner reservations
maybe in Vegas.
Yes, but we made dinner reservations last week with another like friend / person that we work with. We made dinner reservations at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
But they say they're like, ooh, I love that you would pick 5 o'clock because they're early birds too. You know who I'm talking about. And they were like, oh, we're early birds too. And they're right now, they're self-employed. They have a very successful business. And they're right now working to run, I think in 2 months, they're going to run a 35-mile run. So they're getting up. They're like, well, we got to limit the drinks. We got to go to bed because we got to run up tomorrow, run 11 miles. So that's the other thing is, like I said, is you have to start figuring out who you're hanging around, because the other thing is you might want to, there's other people that you might want to hang out with, but they're like, hey, we want to go out. We want to do this. And what happens is you start getting pulled over here and they want to hang out later. It's going to cause a conflict with you personally, and it's also going to cause a conflict with your wife because she's going to get really irritated. She will. I mean, if I come home every week from Crystal, and don't get me wrong, if it's with a successful group and it's once a week and I'm out till 10 or 11 and it's a good reason, Crystal's like, great. But if it's not a good reason, it's like, oh, well, we were just dicking around and drinking and doing stupid shit, which I don't do. She'd be like, yeah, this is coming.
I don't know. I think that you've come home at 10 or 11 o'clock at night maybe 3 times since Harlow's been born, and I don't think it went over that well any of the 3 times. I think he was pretty much like, I better get my ass up tomorrow morning before Crystal so she doesn't throw it in my face that I was out late last night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because even if she doesn't get up to work out, oh, you didn't work out? Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You hear about it in the office. So
yes, that's very true.
I think when you're self-employed, Crystal and I communicate a lot. I want to know where she's at. Like even today, we want to get out of here early. And the reason we want to get out of here early is because we want to go hang out with Harlow. And hey, what do you got to do? What do you not got to do? And then this weekend, it's like, what do we got to do? So Crystal and I are constantly communicating. What do you got to do? What's today? What's this? And even the run that I did yesterday, I know sometimes with Crystal, I know she's probably like, oh, he's got to do this run. But I think she knows that I enjoy it. It's good for me. But the other thing is like, look, when I left there, I was like, I'll get gas, I'll run by the store, and I'll get this, and I'll get dog food. So she's like, okay, cool. So there was a compromise. Mostly, if I just came home late at 9 o'clock and I didn't do any of those things, and I had 3 beers and I ate, she'd be like, really? That's not going to work.
Well, I think, again, it comes down to priorities. So if, like, I actually think it's great that you do the run, and it's cool that you have a group of people that is like-minded and into fitness, and you guys are all pushing each other to do more and go harder and all of that. But you're right. When it comes down to having the beer at the end, it's like, okay, maybe I can stay for a beer, but I have to get home. Like, I have things that I have to do. I remember the days before Harlow, we would have been the people that stayed and had a beer or 2 or 3 and had a good time. But now with a baby, you're like, she's going to be up like clockwork at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we need to have things prepared. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and honestly, like, the mornings are one of my favorite times. I don't get to spend a lot. Like, the mornings are kind of your thing with her.
Why is that?
Because I'm either going to the gym or sleeping in.
Oh, okay.
And so, but also on Wednesdays, you do the workout a little bit later. So, like, I get Wednesday morning with her, and it's cool. You know, like,
Yeah.
I get to spend a couple hours with her, just us two. It's quiet in the morning. Nobody's calling me. I'm not worrying about getting anything done because the day hasn't really started yet. And it's like our little private time. So it's cool.
Yeah, I do the mornings, and that's the thing is, if Crystal's working out or not working out, I still do the morning. So that requires me to get up early, and that, so once again, getting to bed on time. I want to get a decent amount of sleep. I know Monty was like, oh, I didn't realize you slept that much. But when you add it up, even if I get up at 4 a.m. and I went to bed at 9:30, it's 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. That's still 6.5 hours of sleep. Pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, there might be a night you go to 10. So I'm very disciplined to go to bed early. And Crystal will tell you, by the time 9:30 comes around, if we're like tonight, if we're watching something, I'm watching something too. It's called the back of my eyelids.
Yes.
Because I'm exhausted. So, but here's the thing is not staying up and watching Netflix and on the phone and all this. And look, yeah, I could stay up late and work, but it's going to penalize me in the morning. I'm not going to get to work out, and then I'm going to have to get up and deal with Harlow. And that's not successful for me because I need to work out for mental, physical, all that. And Crystal needs me to work out too, to be a good dad and a father and all that. And if not, she can tell the difference. And so Crystal, at nighttime, a lot of times, she'll take the night with Harlow because she didn't get the morning. And sometimes Crystal doesn't get much time with her. So what I do is this is how our morning routine goes. I work out. I come home. Harlow gets up. I grab her. I bring her downstairs. I basically, right now, we take all of her clothes off. She likes to run around naked. I put the heater on. Crystal starts probably getting up at this point unless she's not working out. So Harlow's running around down there. I start getting all of her food ready to go, make sure she had the water for the bottle, all this. And so I let her run around for about 10, 15 minutes, not longer, because we don't want her to get cranky. Sit her down, feed her. That's about 30 minutes. And then obviously before I feed her, I put a diaper on her. Then I bring her upstairs.
Very specific.
Well, no, then I bring her upstairs, and then I put her down on the ground with toys and stuff, and I actually will jump in the shower. I literally get about Crystal knows I take probably the world's fastest showers, 3 to 5 minutes. I'm out, and she's down there. And
you definitely don't take a 5-minute shower.
Okay.
It's more like sometimes I think it's like 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I put all the stuff on.
How is that enjoyable? I need like 15 minutes minimum. Yeah.
Yes, but also too, I'm worried about Harlow's on the ground. I'm not out there, so I'm watching her there, and I got to go. And then I come out, I get dressed and changed. If Crystal's coming home from the gym or getting up, so here's the thing: I need to get ready quickly. So if she comes back, she can say hi, because from 7 to 8 or whatever, there's an hour or half an hour. I got to entertain Harlow, so she's good on the ground for 10, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like she's over it. So I got to get dressed, get ready, then I hang out with her. And then basically Yolanda comes, hand her off to Yolanda, and then Crystal and I can communicate about the day or whatever if you're not there, and that's usually how it works. So Crystal at nighttime, I get to come home and do that stuff. So I actually get a little bit of time at night. If she puts Harlow down, sometimes she goes down 10 minutes, and sometimes it's 30, 40 minutes. And sometimes, like last night, we put her down, and, Crystal's just waiting for me to eat dinner. So you have to have the balance. You have to have the schedule. If you're self-employed, it's 10 times more important. If I worked 9 to 5, came home, had no responsibilities when I got home, and we were home at 5 o'clock, and we didn't have to worry about anything on the weekends, and we didn't have all these investments and all this other stuff going on, I'm not saying life's going to be easier. It's just going to be different.
Well, you have free time. So our idea, like for us, I think when you own a business, there's not a lot of free time. Not that I'm complaining, because I actually love what we do. So, but that free time is like time where I could be doing something to improve my business, to get organized, to work on marketing, to get back to the Facebook or the IG post that Monty's pinged me on 17 times. Like there's... Sure. Yeah. So there's like a million things that we could be doing when there's like quote unquote free time. So we use a lot of that time to do those extra little things that we didn't get to during the day.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Today we're going to leave early. Crystal and I both know that means we kind of take advantage. Today we're filming this. It's Good Friday, so a lot of people take off, so you take advantage of it. But we do know that here comes Monday, we're going to have extra work. So what does that mean on Monday? That means mentally, you better know that you mentally better be ready to come in Monday, like charged up and ready to get some shit done, because you're going to be behind on stuff. Everybody is. Everybody in our industry, everybody's kind of half-assing today. And then Monday is, boom, punch you in the mouth with reality. So that's what it is. My advice is having a kid, being self-employed and doing all this stuff. I think you can do it. I think it's great. I think having the flexibility, having the freedom to be able to do whatever you want with your kid is great. As the kids get older, that's one of our goal, is to be able to be, I want to be the dad where like, does this guy's at every damn event and this and that, because I want to do that. And growing up, I didn't have that, which is fine, because my dad was a corporate guy. There's nothing you do. He had to be at work. He had, 5 bosses, and that's how it works.
So there's one other question that people ask me all the time that I feel like I just need to get out there.
What is it?
Do I ever bring Harlow to work? I wish you did. Everybody wants us to bring Harlow to work, and we have done it 3 or 4 times. But when Harlow's here, nobody works. I literally have to threaten them.
Monty, if Harlow is here, you just want to hang out with her the whole time. Exactly.
Taking all these pictures of her.
Yeah.
So
Social media.
Rose, Mitch, Monty, even Crystal and I, we want to work, but
no. But what happens is Kenny and I work, but nobody else is working.
Yeah.
So
we're like, what? She made a noise. I got to check on her.
Yeah. So I had all these dreams of Harlow and the pack and play, like here at the office. And I actually still think it will happen once she gets a little bit older. But right now she needs to be fed, or she needs her diaper change, or she needs to be entertained. And that equates to like 0 work getting done in the office. So we don't bring Harlow very often.
Yeah. And I want to say, guys, to the guys listening, you need to be supportive of your wife. And that means like in the morning when I get up, I'm really good about, like, my routine is I get up and I try to pick up the house as much as possible and put things away. And, especially with the baby is there's a lot of stuff going on, and you got to help out, you got to step it up. And if you're a girl, I would avoid breastfeeding. I would pump, and then I would make your lazy ass husband that's listening to you next to this get up every night and feed the baby, because she has to pump every 2 hours, and you just be supportive. And that's what a real man should do.
Well, that's what's worked for us. I'm very surprised to hear a man giving out breastfeeding advice. However, that did work for us, but I wouldn't take you up on that advice. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
That worked really well for us. And Kenny is a super helpful husband. If any of you know me, I'm not very good at the domestic duties. I don't claim
Especially
to
in the
be.
morning.
Well, just especially anytime, really.
In the morning.
I don't do them in the morning. It's hard enough for me to get myself ready.
Yes.
But I don't do them much to begin with. I'm not much of a cook. I'm not much of a cleaner. So, we do what works for us in our life. The nanny cooks for us a couple times a week, which is fabulous. And then we have leftovers usually for the next day, which gets us through one more day.
Yep.
And then we have to figure it out a couple times
Uber
a week,
Eats or
which
something. Yep.
means Uber Eats or something for us. So
Yeah, and I think that I'm a morning person, and it's not that Crystal's not, but if anybody knows me, especially I've come back working out, I'm ready to go. So I have to learn too that to get on Crystal's ass in the morning, get all this stuff done, it's a lost cause. So I just have to do it myself. But on the other thing, when I come home at night and Harlow wants to go down and maybe I'm tired or I'm working on stuff, like Crystal's never once said, hey, you need to help out more and do this at night. She's respectful. I'm like, you know what? You're taking the mornings and I'll take the evenings. Yeah, there are some nights where I go up there and I'm like, yeah, let's bathe her together. I'll sit down in the bed with you or whatever. But honestly, during that time, I'm like, okay, I've got 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Am I getting dinner ready? Like, take advantage of it. Don't sit on your ass and watch TV or be lazy. Like, do that. Like, save your Netflix stuff for the weekends or something.
No, I mean, I think that having those agreements is really, like, we used to discuss the agreements before, but now we kind of just know, okay, Kenny has the morning, I have the evening, and that's it. No,
We have a good rhythm.
I don't jump on his ass about not doing things at night because I know he did all the things in the morning. He doesn't jump my ass about not doing things in the morning because he knows I have the nighttime. So this is just the way that it works for us.
Yep. I would say if you're lucky enough to have help, use it. And also, if you are self-employed and remember, and Crystal didn't take a leave of absence. Crystal didn't take 3 months off. Crystal took like 3 days off, really, because I live with her. And even though she'll say, no, I took some time off, there was emails and phone calls. She was working. So we kind of just jumped right into it. And then we figured it out. We didn't read books. We didn't do this. Crystal might have more. And then you kind of figure out a rhythm. I would say our rhythm started to get better as Harlow's sleep pattern got better, and then it changed and we changed with it. But now Harlow's sleeping through the night and we kind of have a good rhythm down. And I think moving forward, work's going well, and you're busier than ever, like with the loan business, and we're getting really busy. And Monty and Francisco keep us busy over here with doing this stuff. So I mean, ask Monty, like, there's not much free time. If it's free time, we're probably like, today we're like, okay, we're out of here. We're going to go spend our family. If there is free time, Monty's like, you said I had 30 minutes, not free time. I need to get this done. And then we're busy, but we're busy building our business with the free time. So that's what it is. Don't waste time in the office. Don't waste time at home. Waste time on vacations.
That's it, huh?
That's
That's
it.
all she wrote.
That's all somebody wrote.
That's all he wrote.
That's all he wrote.
Okay.
So I hope you guys got some nuggets out of that, but that's how we're dealing with everything. And nope, we're not perfect. And yes, we sometimes probably want to strangle each other. Crystal probably wants to strangle me when I want to strangle her because I'm very intense. But
Yes. Yes.
I try to use my intensity and energy in the positive way of like cleaning the house and running and things like that.
You do an okay job. Thank you, guys.
Yep. That's how we're dealing with our baby and being self-employed.